Hi guys. So we're going to write a nonfiction summary together, and we're going to put it in the vocab binder so you have some notes. And I think a nonfiction summary is easier than a fiction summary because you don't have to worry about story elements. You don't have to worry about exposition, rising action, climax, falling action. You don't have to worry about those things, but it's still the same format. It's still 5 sentences. It still has the IVF. So we're going to do this one together. And then on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're going to do 3 of them, kind of-ish by yourself, but we're going to keep track of your data in your data notebook. So this one, you have this article laying on your tabletop called, it's from Wrap Up Media, and it's called How Much Water Do You Waste? So we're going to read this, but then I want you to have your vocab binder, and we're going to take some notes. So remember, your first section is data, and your second section, ooh, I'm losing everything. Your second section, it's vocab. So you're going to go to your third section. And you have, it should look like this. You have 4 pages of race. Then you have a fiction summary. Then you have prepositions. Then you have pattern 1, adjective and adjective, comma, subject, verb. Then you have some dialogue rules. Then you have proofreading marks. Pattern 2, your favorite. And then we have number 8. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this one out of the binder. We're going to take some notes on it, and then we're going to plunk it back in the binder. So what you have left is your transition list. So just leave that there. I'm going to put mine to the side. So I have my number 8, and then I have the article here. And so we're going to do it together. So these are kind of, I call them one-page wonders. They're short, they're simple. In the sense of you can read them and take care of an assignment in a reasonable amount of time. If I gave you an article that was 3-4 pages long, most of you would say, ugh, and you wouldn't do it. So I try to keep the articles a bit shorter so that we can get to our reading and stuff. So, first things first, let's read this article. So here's the article. Wrap Up Media, How Much Water Do You Waste? Ann Lee, Wrap Up Media. On average, Americans waste about 1 trillion gallons of water every year. How much is that? Enough to fill 24 billion bathtubs, enough to fill 40 million swimming pools, enough to fill the Rose Bowl Stadium in Pasadena, California, 12,000 times, enough to meet the yearly water needs of over 11 million households. Though activities like a long shower or running a faucet while brushing one's teeth do waste water, much of our water waste goes unnoticed. A faucet that drips only once a minute will waste 34 gallons in a year. That doesn't sound like much, but think about how many homes have at least one leaky faucet that drips 5 or more times a minute. 34 gallons quickly turns into millions of gallons of wasted water. There's a running toilet. Is there a running toilet in your own home or friends? That toilet could waste between 1,000 and 4,000 gallons of water per day. Now, start to think about all the other places in your house that might harbor a leak. Garden hose, water pipe, dishwasher, washing machine, or swimming pool. What's to be done? Start by noticing leaks and taking steps to fix them. Most leaky faucets can be repaired by replacing a few worn parts. The same can be said for leaky toilets. Not handy? Then watch some home repair videos on YouTube or hire a plumber. Even the initial expense of a plumber will be outweighed by the cost of the leaks. A running toilet can easily cost $14 per day, which adds up to $420 a month or $5,040 in a year. Another way to start conserving water is to capture or reuse it. Many people already harvest rainwater for their gardens, and the equipment needed is relatively low-tech and affordable. More elaborate systems can even capture wastewater for reuse. Did you know that all of your wastewater is not the same? The water flushed from your toilet is called black water. It is highly contaminated and must be processed at a sewage treatment facility. However, 2/3 of household water use falls into the category of gray water. This is the water that drains from your dishwasher, washing machine, or shower. It is far less contaminated and can be reused for watering the lawn or flushing the toilet. Though installing a plumbing system that separates and stores gray water for repeated use is more expensive, imagine if you could reuse 2/3 of your water. The system might pay for itself over several years. Plus, you would be doing your part to conserve water, a truly precious resource. So, now we've read it. Now, let's take care of the IVF part. So we know it's an article. So I'm going to jot down notes, article. So I'm going to go in that first box. We know that Ann Lee wrote it. Make sure you spell her name correctly, or otherwise you don't get the IVF. So L-E-I-G-H. So there she is. So be diligent. We know it's from Wrap Up Media, and you have to spell Wrap Up the way they spelled it. So that's a capital U. Wrap Up Media, like that. And we know it's called How Much Water Do You Waste? So I'm going to squeeze that in there with quotation marks, because articles and short stories and poems and songs get quotation marks, and novels and books get underlines. How much water do you waste? Capital H. Oh, yeah. Now, since it's kind of hard to tell, every part of the title, we're going to capitalize every word in it. Okay? So this is everything we know about it. And I think, I think this article, the central idea, I'm going to go on a limb, is about we waste a lot of water that we could use in different ways. We waste a lot of water that could be used in different ways. Or we could just say we waste a lot of water. Now, we need to look at, let's go back to our number 2. Number 2, the fiction, it's still the same verbs. So, let's use the verb furnishes. Because we haven't used that one before. So here are my jot notes. Now I'm going to put all that together, and I'm going to write my IVF right here. I'm going to start with Ann Lee's article. From Wrap Up Media. So this is where I'm at so far. Make sure you have Wrap Up correctly, and make sure you spell Ann Lee correctly. So Ann Lee's article from Wrap Up Media, called, quotation mark, How Much Water Do You Waste? Oh, question mark, quotation. So here's the article. Make sure you notice capital, 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 capital. Furnishes. And I'm going to change this a little bit because I don't really like exactly how I put it in that box. And that's the beauty of the way we can revise it. Furnishes. Ways. We waste water. And what we could do differently. Because I think that's really more of what it's about. So when you take jot notes, you can think about it a bit. So here we have. So that's going to be the first sentence of our summary. But we need to find 4 really good ideas from this article for our talking points. And we have to use our own words. We can't use quotes because the summary is a retelling, and we're going to move far, far away from the words that she used here, and we're going to make it ours right here. So let's talk about one of these facts. We waste about 1 trillion gallons of water every year. So I think that's important. It's hard to change that into different words, isn't it? Let's say wasting approximately 1 trillion gal a year. I'm kind of intrigued by this idea of we waste so much money that 11 million people could have all their water needs met at home. Ooh, I'm going to use that. Or enough water for 11 million homes. I'm going to stop there. So this is what I have. So jot notes, because we can take it and revise it from there. So I have, you know, wasting approximately 1 trillion gallon a year. And then I have that little note right there. Or enough for 11 million homes. Okay? Now, I think we need to know about, it talks about, you know, like a drippy faucet, a leaking faucet can waste 34 gallons. And then a toilet can be wasting like up to 4,000 gallons. So let's say leaky faucets and toilets can waste thousands of gallons. So I just jotted it down, and I'm just doing jot notes because I want to not use Anley's words. I think we need to talk about there are ways to fix your leaks, ways to fix leaks like YouTube videos, call a plumber. So I just took jot notes, just jot notes. So there's my jot notes. And then she also talked about capture and reusing. You can also capture and reuse, not black water because it's gross. We're gonna gray water. So there we are. So we have some jot notes. Now we're going to polish that and put it into a 5-sentence summary. Okay? So here we go. Sentence number 1. I'm just going to copy it right from here. I'm just going to copy that because I think it sounds okay. Anley's article from Wrap Up Media called How Much Water Do You Waste? Furnishes ways we waste water and what we could do differently. So I'm just going to copy it verbatim, nice and neat, so I have good notes. Here we go. Lee's article from Wrap, capital U, Up Media, called, quotes, how, capital much, capital water, capital do, capital U, waste, question mark, because that's in the article, and the quotation marks, furnishes, ways, we waste water, and what we could do differently. And punctuation. So here, this is what I have. It's exactly like step 2. Now, I need transition words. I'm going to go to my transition list because I kind of like those. So that is number 9, right? The last page here. Okay, so let's do, Dun, dun, dun. Let's go. I like this one, to be sure. So I'm going to go to be sure. To be sure, comma. So here I am. To be sure, we're going to use it like first. Ooh, this is jot notes. We said wasting approximately 1 trillion gallons a year, enough water for 11 million homes. Americans waste enough water that 11 million homes could use the equivalent of approximately 1, and I'm going to spell out 1 because numbers less than 10, you usually spell out 1 trillion gallons a year. Let me see if that makes sense. To be sure, Americans waste enough water that 11 million homes could use, comma, the equivalent of approximately 1 trillion gallons a year. Here we are, for those who wait for me to write. So there we are, second sentence. Okay, pause if you need to. And then we're going to go, to be sure, additionally. Comma. Leaky faucets and toilets can waste thousands of gallons. Leaky faucets and toilets can waste thousands of gallons of, what are we talking about? Water. So here's sentence 3, additionally. Equally important. Comma, ways to fix leaks, YouTube. We should say something about, you can call a plumber, but you can also do it yourself, and YouTube can help you. But we're going to say that in a better way. Equally important. Fixing these leaks with the help of a plumber or YouTube videos. Have you ever used YouTube to figure something out? I do. I think it's the coolest thing ever. Equally important, fixing these leaks with the help of a plumber or YouTube videos can fit any pocketbook. So here we go, sentence 4. I have to keep squishing it down there. So freeze if you need it. And then we have, let's say, finally. It's kind of boring, but finally, the article author is Lee, L-E-I-G-H, also suggests capturing and reusing gray water. To reduce, I have to go around the side, to reduce waste. Okay, I'm going to draw a little line here so you can kind of see what I have going on. So what I have here is a 5-sentence summary that I have 100% not used any words that Ann Lee used. So this is your example. You should use number 8 for your 3 data point nonfiction summaries you're going to write. We did not have to talk specifically about these 4 points. It's just they seem to pop out, especially the way, if you look at the way this article is organized. We kind of took a little bit from here, a little bit from here, and a little bit from here. So it just sort of makes sense. And the hardest part about this is paraphrasing, but you can do it because you're a master. So when you have this done, you are going to put it back in here. Don't turn it in, because I'm going to trust that you followed me. And I want you to have a good example. Now, next, what you're going to do is you're going to, 7th graders, you are going to look at the Google form, and you are going to review the prologue and the author's note in chapter 1. And yes, you can use your book to help you. And then when you're done, you're going to look at me. And when I see half of you done, we're going to start to read. And 8th graders, when you're done with this summary, you're going to jump right to your book clubs. Okay, have fun.